we think Japan is a place that everyone should visit. From futuristic skyscrapers to peaceful bamboo groves, neon arcades, and peaceful temples, it's a place like no other on the planet. The food is great, the people are very polite, and they have one of the most efficient public transports in the world. We love the combination of ease of travel and glorious architecture and culture. So in today's video, we'll talk about the 10 best places to visit in Japan. Let's get started. Number 10. Hiroshima. In honor of the victims of the atomic bombing at the Hiroshima Peace Memorial Museum and Park, stay to explore a modern city that was almost completely rebuilt after World War II. Hiroshima is usually combined with a visit to the famous Itsukushima Shrine's famous Ukitori Gate on the nearby Miyajima Island. The gate is currently under renovation. Try the dough, vegetables, rich pancakes made from noodles, and the local specialty okonomiyaki. 1 to 2 nights is enough to visit Peace Memorial Hall and Miyajima. You can also visit as a long day trip from Kyoto, Osaka, and Okayama. Number 9. Nara. Nara was Japan's first permanent capital and is full of many historical treasures listed as UNESCO World Heritage Sites. One of Japan's leading attractions, it's a day trip worth visiting the temples and wild deer in Nara Park from Kyoto. The Great Buddha Hall at Todaiji Temple is the tallest wooden building in the world, and there's so much to wonder for a huge site. Inside is a 15-meter-high gold and bronze Buddha statue dating back to 751. Most visitors come from Kyoto on a day trip. The highlights can be seen in half a day, but a full day is better. Number 8. Tsumago. Tsumago is a picturesque traditional mountain village in Kiso Valley. One of Japan's best preserved post towns, it feels like you're back on a low-traffic street in a beautifully restored wooden inn. In the Edo period 300 years ago, Tsumago-juku was a nakasendo station between Kyoto and Edo, now Tokyo. You can hike part of this trail to Magome village in about 2 to 3 hours. Unfortunately, people can't do this because of the typhoons and stuff, but it should be scenic and easy to hike. On the first day of your trip, if you can arrive early enough to hike the nakasendo in the afternoon, 1 night is enough because it's a small village. Number 7. Koya-San. Koya-San, Mount Koya, is one of the most traditional places to experience aspects of the country in Japan. Surrounded by the Kansai forest, the secluded and sacred temple town is one of the best places to stay in a shakubo or temple shakubo and enjoy the life of a monk. After trekking through the Okuno Forest Cemetery in another world, tourists check into a simple tatami room in the temple, share a hot spring, and enjoy delicious vegetarian cuisine. In the morning, they get up early with the monks for singing and meditation rituals. Temple stay at Mount Koya is a fascinating experience and worth a detour from Osaka and Kyoto. Number 6. Nikko. Nikko, a temple town and UNESCO World Heritage Site in the mountains hours north of Tokyo, is a cool vacation from the city. This area is famous for its bright autumn colors. Temples and shrines with vermilion gates and moss-covered stone lanterns are scattered on the hillsides of wooded hills. The main attraction is Toshogu. Toshogu is a magnificent complex with more than 12 luxuriously decorated red and gold buildings, surrounded by towering ancient cedar trees. The crowd can be overwhelmed, so then head to one of the quiet shrines. You can visit Nikko on a day trip from Tokyo, but it's worth a night or two to explore one of Japan's most beautiful places, including hiking trails, lakes, waterfalls, and hot springs. Number 5. Kanazawa. Kanazawa is one of the most visited cities in Japan, but there are few foreign tourists. As Kyoto grows in popularity, head to Kanazawa instead and go to a quiet place to experience the geisha district, where wooden buildings are preserved. It also has one of the country's most beautiful gardens, an impressive castle, and many museums to explore. Number 4. Hakone. Mount Fuji is on the list of most people visiting Japan, but this must-see Japanese landmark is often elusive and cloudy. There are many places to look at Mount Fuji. Lake Kawaguchigo is also recommended, but Hakone is easily accessible from Tokyo. And if you aren't there, there are many other activities as well. only some people are lucky to witness it. Some visit it on a rainy day, but sometimes, and fortunately, Mount Fuji emerges from the clouds of Lake Ashi and everything becomes magical. It's fun to visit Hakone, as you can get around the sites by various means of transportation. You can visit on a day trip from Tokyo, but 1 to 2 nights is recommended to experience the inn and hot springs. Tourists spend 1 night doing some of the loops when they arrive in the afternoon, and the rest in the morning. This was enough for the main attractions, but we hope you enjoy the inn more. Hotel Musashiya is the best place to stay in Japan, a modern landmark on the shores of Lake Ashi in Moto Hakone. You'll be provided with tatami rooms and comfortable lake views, indoor and outdoor hot springs, and delicious vegetarian feasts in your rooms. It is wonderfully relaxing indeed. Number 3. Takayama. Takayama is a beautiful small town on the edge of the Japanese Alps and is one of the least visited places in Japan. People love strolling through the historic center full of traditional wooden houses, colorful shrines, beautifully carved trees, and bright red bridges over the river. Don't miss it in Takayama. Take a walk in the old town early in the morning before the crowd arrives. Buy delicious fruits at the morning market. A snack of mitarashi dango, rice balls grilled at a stall. Check out the luxurious floats at the Festival Float Exhibition Hall. Visit Hida Folk Village and see a traditional thatch-roofed house. Cycling in the countryside with Satoyama Experience. People usually stay here for 2 nights because there are many things to do in the countryside around, but they always wish they could stay longer. For long-term stays, you can take a day trip to see the traditional thatched-roofed houses in Shirakawa-go, or hike in the Kamikochi Japanese Alps. Number 2. Tokyo. If Kyoto is the center of traditional Japan, Tokyo is its ultra-modern counterpart. Here you'll find skyscrapers, noisy arcades, bustling pedestrian crossings, crazy youth fashion, and many incredibly delicious restaurants. If all you do in Tokyo is to eat, you will have a great time. Even the vegetarians will eat well. Tokyo has some of the weirdest activities people have ever done, from themed cafes to sensory overload shows, arcades, and cosplay go-karts. When tourists first go to Tokyo, they are overwhelmed by the vast city and was comparable to Kyoto. After visiting many times, people come to love this city. The food is certainly helpful. It's not as attractive as Kyoto, but there are many things you don't want to miss. In Tokyo, don't miss. Dress up as your favorite character and drive a go-kart on a real road. It's insane, but it's a lot of fun. Enjoy a meal in a small restaurant in the atmospheric memory lane. Free night view of Shinjuku from the Tokyo Metropolitan Government Building. Cross the famous Shibuya intersection. Marvel at the crazy fashion of Takeshita Street in Harajuku. Visit the stunning Disney Sea, probably our favorite Disney park in the world, or the adjacent Tokyo Disneyland, or both if you have 2 days. Number 1. Kyoto. If you have only one destination in Japan, go to Kyoto. This is traditional Japan as you imagined. Wooden tea houses, bamboo groves, colorful kimono geisha emerging from gold and silver scarlet temples and shrines, scooped gravel zen gardens, lacquered plates, and more, like markets filled with intriguing but indistinguishable ingredients such as the elaborate feasts served and the elegant tea ceremony. There are narrow stone paths, old wooden houses, flowing robed monks, and chants and gongs from many temples and sanctuaries. Gion is a place to see geisha, and there are many beautiful temples to explore in Higashiyama. Higashiyama is located on a west hill and is one of the most traditional districts, home to bamboo grove, eccentric temples, and monkeys. Kyoto is one of the leading tourist spots in Japan, so please visit a popular temple in the early morning when it's not crowded. Don't miss in Tokyo. Stroll around the red torii gate of Fushimi Inari Shrine. Learn to cook traditional Japanese food with emi. Get a lot of money at the vending machine at Kinkakuji Temple, the Golden Temple. A night retreat from the busy streets of Gion to the magical Yasaka Shrine. Follow the path of a philosopher and experience Zen Buddhist cuisine at Tenryuji Temple. Visit in late March or early April to explore these magical cherry blossom spots in Kyoto.